We are on the campus of Utah State, where tonight the Aggies will try to upset one of the great volleyball programs in the nation. All-American Kanani Danielson and the 5th-ranked Rainbow Wahine have been dominant in conference and could be on the road to a very special season. Late night volleyball from the WAC is next. Meet the challenge. That's the credo here at Utah State, and it's what the Aggies will have to do here tonight as we get set for WAC volleyball and number 5 Hawaii taking on Utah State. As we take a look at the WAC standings, no surprises. Hawaii sits up top. They are undefeated in conference play, but Utah State tied for the 6th spot with Fresno State, still trying to find a position in the standings. And hello everyone, I'm Krista Blanc along with former USC captain Kelly Tennant. And Kelly, Hawaii has multiple options for their offense, but Kanani Danielson is their main go-to.
She is the go-to for Hawaii. She is a standout outside hitter, and not only is she getting a ton of sets in the front row, but she's also getting a lot of sets in the back row, which has opened up their offense. And this year she has stepped into a huge leadership role, and as of late making some great efforts for Hawaii. Definitely a game changer.
But for Utah State, when you're facing a team like Hawaii, you have to have a lot of confidence. And this is a team that started out 11-0 non-conference play, but they've had their struggles as of late in WAC play.
They have. They've been struggling, and they need to get some wins under their belt to get in the top 6 to make it into the WAC tournament. And in order to do that, they need to rely on Liz MacArthur. She's their junior outside hitter, and she has been the reason they've been playing well even early in this season. They need some great performance out of her tonight in the front row and the back.
Well, Liz MacArthur will definitely be a factor in this starting lineup for Utah State, but they'll also have a big surprise. Shay Sorensen, just a sophomore at the opposite spot. There's Liz MacArthur on the outside. Jocelyn White as well on the outside. And then Katie Astle in the middle, as well as Chantel Durant. And there's Grayson DuBose in his 5th season at Utah State. The head coach, he's the winningest coach at Utah State as well. On the other side for Hawaii, their starting lineups look like this. On the opposite, Chantil Satelli, Michelle Weber, with freshmen in the starting lineup, Kanani Danielson, Brittany Hewitt, Emily Hartong, and then setting Danny Mafua and the libero, Elizabeth Tahue. Head coach for Hawaii is Dave Shoji in his 36th season. He is the winningest active Division I coach with 1,034 wins. Cannot say enough about this coach and what he has done for women's volleyball. We are getting ready for the serves. There's your leaders, Liz MacArthur, and there is Kanani Danielson for Hawaii. Both of these players instrumental in what will happen in this one. Liz MacArthur, 6'1" junior. She is 1st in the WAC in service aces. St. George, Utah. They're just waiting for us. Safety first, waiting for a positioning of the camera. But here we see number 12 there, Emily Maeda for Hawaii, has worked her way into the rotation here tonight. 5'6" sophomore.
And she is a great defender. I'm glad they have her in the rotation tonight. I think it's good to get her some reps about halfway through the WAC season.
Hawaii's not afraid to change things up if they feel like they need to make some adjustments. But right now, a great start for Utah State as they get that first point.
And volleyball is such a momentum game, and they have to get the momentum early. Utah State needs to get a string of points here and mess with the Hawaii offense and defense.
Back row. Out of system right now is Hawaii. Utah State has come out very aggressively. Little bloop over from Katie Astle. Kanani Danielson. And another point going Utah State's way, but you were right, Kelly. If Utah State has a chance in this one, they have to get started early.
They do. They're doing a great job of placing the ball. They're not going up every time and taking those huge swings, but they're putting the ball in the open spots on the court.
Kanani Danielson got every bit of that, and that's what happens when Hawaii is able to get that first pass. That's what will happen. Point Hawaii. Back to serve, number 4, Brittany Hewitt, 6'3" sophomore. The back set to Sorensen. Danielson over the double block. And out of the back row, Liz MacArthur, they've been working her out of the back row a little bit more. The pancake, Chelsea Fowles keeps it alive for Utah State, but Liz MacArthur in the back couldn't finish.
Utah State is a scrappy team. They're good at defense here. You see them picking up those balls. The problem they're going to run into is finishing. They need to execute and finish those big plays.
Now's the back set to Shea Sorensen. That one out of play. Point Hawaii.
You know, I saw Hawaii last week against Idaho. It was the first match of their 3-match road trip, an away trip, and I was wondering at that time what they were going to look like tonight, because that is a tough, long trip, and I think that's why they look a little uncomfortable right now.
Coming into this one for Utah State, Coach DuBose said they have to serve well in order to try to get Hawaii a little offbeat, out of their system if they can. The block has been pretty solid, but it's these plays right here. How about the pancake? How about fouls in the back row?
It's a great effort, but you have to be able to finish it and do it correctly.
A very good point. Danny Mafua gives it to her main go-to, Kanani Danielson, and what hops she's got.
You see such a good set. It's the perfect spot, the right distance away from the net. She's able to get behind it and swing away.
And the service too long for Brittany Hewitt, so the point and the serve will go back to Utah State. And there you see number 11, Danny Mafua. She's the main setter for Dave Shoji's team, one of the 2 seniors. And Christine Morrill serves it out for Utah State. No, they're going to say it caught the line. They're going to give it to her.
That was a beautiful serve right in the corner there. And that's Kanani Danielson not following to the end line and seeing where the ball goes. She needed to be behind that.
The dump from Mafua. Utah State didn't fall for it. Jocelyn White off the block. The slide from Emily Hartong goes out. Point Utah State.
You know, I have to say, of all the teams I've seen Hawaii play, Utah State seems to be doing exactly what they want. They scouted them correctly, and they're making the adjustments based on what Hawaii does well.
And that time the slide works for Emily Hartong and Hawaii. But I think you're right, Kelly. Utah State seemed very relaxed in their warm-ups. They were loose. And I think coming off of a loss against New Mexico State, they know they have to, every single match from this point on, try to get every win they can.
They have to do something. They had to make some sort of change. They needed that boost of confidence, and it looks like they're very confident right now. The question is whether they can string this along throughout the match.
Kanani Danielson tried to find the back corner, but Utah State was right there. What a pretty up, and Christine Morrill keeps it alive for Utah State. One hand, number 14 right there.
That is such an amazing effort, and that really speaks to the Utah State attitude. They go for everything, they make those big plays. They have some good leaders that I think are stepping up now and saying, we gotta do this.
They're gonna say it was a touch. Utah State fans thought it was out. Chantil Satelli, number 14 for Hawaii, a transfer from St. Mary's out of the Bay Area, and very happy to have her. And now Kanani Danielson back to serve. Fowles not afraid to go up. The setter for Utah State. Over to Jocelyn White. Hawaii not getting the passes that they'd like. But they're going to give the free ball. And the back to Satelli, but the touch, point Hawaii.
Utah State seems to be running a fast offense, and they're trying to keep the ball low to mess with Hawaii's blockers. I think that's a great thing to do here. You have to do something to get them out of rhythm in the front row.
When you talk fast offense, Hawaii seems to be a team that always wants that pace up, and it'll be a factor of which team can handle the pace, which team gets to have the pace they want. So point Utah State, back to serve. Jocelyn White, the 6'3" sophomore. They said she's really come in more confident this year, much more mature. The back set to Satelli. The block was there, though, to help Utah State keep it alive. Liz MacArthur, though, little off balance, out of position, and that one goes wide.
That was a tough set coming out of the back row, but she did a good job of bettering the ball and trying to make a nice high set up to the outside hitter.
Back to serve now, Elizabeth Kaihue, one of 2 seniors for Hawaii. Liz MacArthur had to take some off. They were waiting for her on the other side. Out of the back row, Kanani Danielson. They're going to give that point to Utah State.
And those are mental focus errors. You know where you need to be behind that line. And when you foot fault on that 10-foot line, and it means you're attacking out of the back row, that's just you not knowing where you are in the court. And so you have to stop and kind of see where you're at and just think about that a little more and focus on that.
Michelle Weber, number 1 for Hawaii. One of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup. And Kelly, you talked about the football, and there you see Danielson from the back row, foot on the line.
And the deal with that is if she's hitting out of the back row, she has to stay behind the 10-foot line or not break the plane of the net. And she did both of those things incorrectly, so that's why she got called on that.
Satelli barely gets it over, but Utah State has to give it up with the free ball. Short flick to Brittany Hewitt. Michelle Weber. Wasn't sure she was going to get to that one. The set was pretty low. Another free ball. And again, trying to go to Danielson from the back row. The point goes to Utah State.
It's like both teams are just trying to go to one person. You have Danielson and you have MacArthur. Both these teams need to open up the offense, get some good passes and digs up there so their setters have some options. Because if you're going to the same people all night, it's never going to work.
Fouls with the serve, and the pass was off for Hawaii, and it works in Utah State's favor. That one goes long. And you're right, these 2 teams faced earlier in the season, the first WAC match of the season, a loss at Hawaii for Utah State. And one of the things they said, their serving has to be better, and they have to be a little more physical, and they're doing it so far. The block. And another free ball over to Hawaii. Mafua back to Hewitt. And a point, Hawaii.
I love seeing Hewitt going behind off of 1 foot, and she struggled the other night against Idaho. And you saw the play before last, she struggled on it. She needs to get up there, get on that 1 foot, and torque her body, use that momentum to get the ball in the court.